Learning Youth and Schools Committee, Bob Wiley, who's going to share with you a little bit about the scholarship program and past recipients as well. Thank you.
Thanks, Patrick. This week and next, your youth, schools, and early learning committee members are again interviewing applicants for Winners for Life scholarships. We're looking to select a few applicants from all of these who are already identified as winners. We have scholarships for only about a third of those who are seeking them. It's a great challenge to narrow down the right combination of 4 factors: overcoming obstacles, achievements, goals for college and beyond, and perhaps most daunting of all, financial need. Every one of these winners has overcome obstacles in order to be here. We have to take it a step further and ask, how much has the candidate had to overcome in their life and personal situation? I cannot begin to tell you how humbling it is to do this. All the winners are accomplished. We have to ask, just how much has the candidate achieved in school, jobs, extracurricular activities, and so forth? All of the winners are likely to have goals, to want to go to college or otherwise further their education. We have to determine how well they've thought about why they would like to go on to higher ed, what they'd like to study, and how that will help them all in life. Finally, financial need. This is always a factor in education, becoming more of one all the time. Ultimately, we're bound by our pledge of service above self to try as best we can to make the choices that we hope, on behalf of all of you, will do the most good. Now, last year, Doreen, Cato, and I interviewed 3 wonderful candidates. And the one that we chose for the scholarship, Mariah Lilly, was unable to join us today, although she was expected. So I want to just take a minute and tell you about that experience. First of all, it was a terrific experience for me doing this with Doreen. And I've learned an awful lot on this committee with her as chair, and I really appreciate it. We went down to South Lake High School to meet 2 students. Now, I'd like a show of hands, please, of all of my fellow Rotarians. Who is familiar with South Lake High School? Quite a few, I'm surprised. But are these all my fellow Rotarians raising their hands? Well, who's heard of Rainier Beach High School? All right. That's the sea of hands I expected. Well, South Lake is practically across the street from Rainier Beach, but it's an alternative school. And we interviewed 2 kids there. One of them already had an athletic scholarship and so really didn't have the need. But the young lady to whom we ended up giving the scholarship would not be at South Seattle Community College right now studying nursing without it. And I talked with her on the phone late last week, and I asked her how it was going. And she said, well, she wouldn't be there without it, but it's still really hard. Right now, she's not in school. She's working at a Starbucks, but she's going back to school in the spring, or later in the spring, I guess. And she has made an important discovery about what she wants to do in nursing. She had told us that she wanted to be, if I remember correctly, a pediatric neonatal nurse. And what she discovered almost immediately upon commencing studies for that is that it requires extracting bodily fluids. And she learned that she faints at the sight of blood, which is inconvenient. And she decided this just wasn't something that she could overcome. As many obstacles as she's overcome, apparently this one was insurmountable. So she, but being a winner for life, and let all of you take inspiration from this, she thought, well, how can I still help children without needing to pierce skin, but rather non-invasively looking through it? And so she is now going to go into ultrasound. So that seems like a good choice for her. We found all 3 of these kids last year in the alternative schools. These are schools that cater to kids that are there like a net for kids that can't stay on the regular schedule to graduate with their class. Because if one thing goes wrong and you don't have enough credits, you can't make it up, or it's very hard to make it up. So every one of the kids that Doreen and I talked to in the alternative schools emphasized how lucky they are that there is this choice in the system that enables them to be able to make up the time. And the very fact that they're motivated to do that sort of helps self-select them as winners if the other criteria apply. So I'm not, now that I understand it better, particularly surprised that that's where we're finding some of these winners. I'm just very grateful that we have enough flexibility and choice in the system to enable it. So Mariah wasn't able to make it, but she's very, very appreciative to all of you for making this possible. It is really humbling to look at very, very deserving kids and have to narrow it down to very few. but we can all be very proud of this work that the club enables, and I want to thank everyone for contributing to this. And when Tim hands out those forms for signing up for committees for new members, think about the Youth, Schools, and Early Learning Committee, because this to me has been the most rewarding part of my 11 years in Rotary, is access to the kids in these schools and their wonderful teachers, and to see how it really works. Thank you very much.